一种你呢个定讲下来的就碰见一种现在的那些来了到给他变那个那个没头你呢才ว่า过去3วันยังพอติดที่อเมริกาไอ้คนที่ถ่ายตอนนี้ปัสนี่นะใจต่อ Jasmine Tierra เนี่ยน้อง Jasmine
เนี่ยชง
ย้ายใจเลยก็น่ะ
Well, I need to brush up on my Hmong, so today is not.
How have you been?
I've been really good. Yeah.
You've been really good. So what have you been doing? Yes.
What have I been up to? I just graduated, so I'm excited about that.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. I am I'm actually working on perfecting my speech in Hmong. So now that I'm done with my master's, I can focus on that.
All right.
That's been my focus.
I was hoping that you're Hmong, no.
But yeah, next time we speak, we may be able to have a better conversation. But I've been working on that and new music. Working on getting more videos out so I can put visuals with the songs.
Okay, right. That's all right. Now, take us back to your early days, right? You how do you come in contact with the Hmong, right? The Hmong community.
So I still have my same friends from high school. Some of my best friends that I made there were still friends today. So I still talk to them. My friend Pania actually just came to visit me maybe about 6 months ago.
Right.
So still in close contact.
All right. So now take us back to your early days, right? Early days, and how do you become interested in the Hmong music?
Sure. So I started back in high school. My the school I went to was over 55% Hmong. So you had no choice but to make a Hmong friend. And I'm glad I did because I got to learn some new things. And again, some of my best friends were Hmong. So I would hear them say certain things and I would just try to learn little things. And they all knew that I loved to sing. So whenever they would share their music with me, I would just try to mimic what I heard. And then, that sounds good. Maybe you really should pursue this. And so that's what I did. A very popular song back when I was in high school was by Sudden Rush, you know? And so, so I learned that song and started performing at some Hmong events, Hmong New Year. And everybody seemed to have enjoyed it. So I wanted to continue to go further with that.
Right.
And I eventually started to make my own Hmong music. And I think in 2012, I released my first album.
Right.
And I wanted to challenge myself. And I just released my second one. Well, not just, but it was a year ago. Okay,
now. So who is actually inspire you, right? Who inspire you to make Hmong music? Is that because of your mixing with the Hmong, your friends, and that you just fall in love with the music? And is that how it started?
Yeah, it feels great to be able to learn about someone else's culture other than my own. I've always had a passion for that. So the Hmong community is such a special culture, I feel like, and it's not well known as other Asian groups, like, like Vietnamese or Korean. But I feel like it's such a beautiful culture that's not recognized as well as it should be yet.
Yeah.
So it was just great to just dig in there and like, oh wow, this is cool. I like how the songs sound. I like how the tones sound when you all speak. Sounds like music.
Because the Hmong language is a very you got to have to the toning reason you have to have a very good ear to listen to the tone.
Yes, that's the hard part.
So I think you started when you enter a competition, isn't it? A singing competition in one of the Hmong New Year back. Oh, I can't remember. Many years ago, right?
Yes,
and that's how you become well known, isn't it? Can you share with us a little bit? How do you get into that competition?
Yes, so that was back in 2012 or 11, one of those. And so I first competed in Minnesota, and that's where I went to high school. And I did not place there because, well, I didn't place. And on top of that, I was very shy. And unfortunately, when I got on stage, my voice shook like a goat, because I was so scared. But after that, I didn't beat myself up about it. I was just like, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. So my friends were telling me the biggest Hmong New Year in the States is the one in California. Mm-hmm. No, so I went there. Long story short, I competed, and I actually took first place because I felt more confident this time around.
Right.
I didn't overthink things, and and that's
I think your voice, it just blew everyone's mind because you have such a powerful voice singing a Hmong song, which is something that we have never heard. And not only that, but you are not Hmong yourself, and you sing a Hmong song. That song, everyone's remember you from there, isn't it? And that's right.
Thank you.
So you have how many albums that you have released so far?
2.
And take us through your albums. How was your first albums when?
So the first album took quite a bit of time, only because everything was so new. Me trying to grasp the language and make sure it sounds correct. There's a lot of back and forth that goes on between me and then having my friends listen to it. And they're harsh critics, which I love them. They'll tell me, "Oh no, change that." Or they'll laugh and be like, "Oh, girl, no, this is not it."
So did you actually write the song yourself?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So you can actually write Hmong then?
Yes, I write it much better than I can speak it. I learned that when I was in high school. There was when I was auditioning to sing for a Hmong New Year at my school. One of the ladies there, I don't know her first name, but I used to call her Miss Yang. She heard me trying to sing the songs, and she was like, "If you come to my office every morning, I'll help you with the reading part of it. And you can catch on to the speaking part. But for now, let's get you with the reading." So she actually taught me how to read most Hmong words, like I want to say within a week. She was very good at just kind of seeing where I was needing the help and then pushing me towards the right direction.
And it's amazing how you must know a lot of Hmong words. I mean, like, you must be very good. Like, even a Hmong person themselves, we can still not able to write a song, but you actually write a song yourself.
I wish I could speak it as good, but yeah, thank you.
So you said you wrote a song and then you sent it to your friends to actually check it, and then back to you. All right. So who does all the music for you then?
I use different producers. You can go on SoundClick, and there's people who make beats, and you can check them out. If you like it, you can purchase a license, and you go from there. Right.
So most of your song, you wrote it yourself?
Right? Yes, all of my songs I wrote for myself.
Right. Mm-hmm. Do you have a song that actually just purely because I listen to your song, it's more like a mix, isn't it? A mixture of a bit of English and a bit Hmong, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have a song that actually is completely Hmong or most of
I do.
Oh, you do? What is that song? That song?
Huh?
What is the name of that song?
On my first album, I had 2 of them. I have to think back because unfortunately it was 6 years ago? On that album, the song that I have that's all in Hmong was called My Friend. So it was, where's my old album? It was that one, I think it was number 5. And to be honest, I have to look at that album.
We'll have to. It's just that we'll get your fan to go and go back and search for it.
Okay.
So that was 6 years ago, right? That was your first album.
Yeah, about 6 or 7 years ago. Mm-hmm.
All right. And then when was the second come out? The second albums come out?
May 16th of last year.
All right. So you have a big gap in between that.
Yes.
So what did you do in between that? Do you perform in different Hmong function.
Yes. So I had the pleasure of being with you all last year as well. So I did go to Australia to perform there. I also went to China the year before, like 2 years ago from today.
Right.
And to perform there. And I also have been to Detroit, Michigan to perform at their New Year. And not Detroit, it was in Michigan, yeah. And it was a lot of fun as well.
So take us through to your two overseas performers. What are different than the one that you perform in Australia? I mean, back in the US.
Yes. So I would say China was very different. China was different because their festival that I performed for, a lot of the people who were watching, they didn't just speak Hmong, of course. Like there was maybe a handful of people who were Hmong speakers there. So and they would make themselves known too. Like whenever I would perform, they'll be singing loud. Oh yeah, they'll be singing loud and everything. I'm like, okay, great. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But it was also very different just because of the differences between, here in America and China. Like, for example, when I got to the airport, I needed to use the restroom. And when I opened the door, they don't have a regular stall, like it's just the hole on the ground. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. It was a beautiful experience.
All right. What about your Australian tour?
Yeah, Australia was a lot of fun. It was beautiful. I would say I don't feel as if it was very different. No, it wasn't very different. It was just more close knit. It was smaller, and I like that because it felt like everybody was family.
Yeah, I suppose because the two countries, they're quite similar, isn't it? Yeah, like they will speak English, and not like when you went to China, when you have to have
nobody's
Chinese and they don't speak English.
Yeah, I had to have a translator there.
So, what has been the best performance of your your singing career?
I would say it was Australia because when I went there, I got to see a lot. It felt like I was able to still see all of the beauties of Australia while also being there to give the gift of music, So I thought that was just a full, all-around beautiful experience. I still think about it like all the time.
Thank you for that. I think your Australian band are missing you. That's why they are. We have to get you back in one day.
I love to come back.
Right. So now, who's actually who is your Hmong singer? Who is your favorite Hmong singers?
I still love Christine Zhong. She hasn't really done a lot of music late. No, actually, yes, she has. She has released new music. Yes, she has.
All right. Who is it? Christine Zhong? All right.
Christine, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. And why is that? Why her? There's so many of them.
She has a beautiful voice. It's very angelic. And maybe I'm a little biased because I have met her before. And her personality is just as beautiful as well.
Right. Oh, that's really good. And because there's so many of them, so and I think she's her voice. She's got a very powerful voice, like you.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. Okay. Now, tell us about your new album now. Your new the recently one.
Yeah. So that album is actually very precious to me because I was so determined to have new music out because, again, there was that huge gap between my first album as well. But this album, it has a lot of songs that are more mature than my first album. My first album, I was about 19 or 20 years old. So I was just getting a feel for music as far as writing Hmong songs. But this album, it actually takes you through some my personal experiences that I've been through, love lost, love gained, and things like that.
And when I listen to, I think the lyric, right, the wording, the lyric there, they're more meaningful, isn't it? They have kind of the deeper meaning than compared to your first one, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then I think the music that's really good. I think one of the song that I want to, a lot of people asking the song Nia, right? Tell us a little bit the song the mom. That song, it's one of my favorite song, right? And it's a lot of people like that song. Do you write that for your mom, or who did you actually write the song to?
Yeah, I did write it for my mom. And all of the lyrics are from the heart. She's a hardworking woman. I grew up in a single parent household, so she was often working maybe 2 or 3 jobs at one time. It was a lot. So I wrote that song for her because I wanted to dedicate something to her to show my appreciation. And when she first heard it, she loved it. And she was crying in the studio because she always goes to my studio sessions when I'm recording.
Right.
And I remember looking out the little glass window and she was trying to hide the fact that she was wiping her face.
The wording there, do you just write those wording yourself, or you consult with someone, or?
So I start off writing it myself, and I will show it to I will send it to my friend. She'll take a look at it, and then she'll call me back, and she's like, okay, this sentence sounds good. This next sentence, you need to add in 2 or 3 more words here. She'll give me examples, and she'll tell me what how it would change the structure a bit. And if it sounds good, I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use that. So she helps kind of restructure it to make it sound like proper Hmong sentences.
Right. So because I'm also a translator myself, and I thought, do you think in English first, like you write, then you translate?
Yes, I definitely. I definitely think in English first. Hey, what about you? When you're thinking just regular thoughts around the house, do you think in Hmong first or English?
Yeah, I think it's sometimes, I will think in Hmong first, and then it to. That is so interesting. I was amazed with you that so you actually think, and then you write in Hmong, right? You translate that and you get it right. That is fascinating, and that's very, very good, because it takes a process, right, to actually thinking of to come up with the right word, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then Hmong word, they're such a difficult word too, and then you have
to. It's so difficult.
But that song is probably one of the song that I don't know. I really like that song, and
thank you.
I had that song I think about 5 years ago. I think, yeah, and and I didn't even know that it was you, right? I just searched for a YouTube, and and there was a song that I was looking for, a song for Mother's Day, and that was just a perfect song. So that song has become my Mother's Day song forever. Right. So, what is your favorite song out of all those 2 albums?
I would say the album that I have out currently, I love the songs on there. I would say number 2, which is Our Love Was Real, is such, that song, I don't know if this will make sense to other people, but as an artist, sometimes, because I write my songs in my head first, when I'm hearing the music, I'll be driving and I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll put this sound to it or this melody or whatever. And then when I get it actually in the studio to record it, sometimes it may not come out exactly like how I heard it in my head. But that song came out exactly like how I heard it in my head. So I love that song because all of the melodies, everything flowed like how I wanted it to flow. But that's not my favorite song. My favorite song is the very first song I wrote that was in Hmong and English. And that one is Our Love Is Forever, back in 2012.
Right. Because take us through, right? If someone, right, want to write a song, right, like you, right? What should they do? Like, what are the process of writing a song? Can you take us through that? Like,
sure. So my own personal process that works for me is sometimes I could be just laying down in a quiet area, and I'll try to have my mind clear, and a melody will come to me, and I'm like, and I'll try it out, and I'll probably record it, just a melody, humming it out on my phone so I can keep that melody. And then if I find a nice beat that I like, I'll try to use that melody on that beat to see if it fits. If it does, awesome. Now I can go ahead with the words.
All right.
Often, and my sister writes like this too, where we hear a beat first, and then we're like playing around with different melodies. But I think that's the first step. That's the foundation, is the beat and the melody, for me at least.
All right. Because I thought that you need to write us the word, the lyric first. Then you go and then try to find, the music you'll fit into that. And then, so you're on the other way around.
I'm the other way around, yes.
Except most of the songwriters, they're like that, or it just depend on the individual.
Yeah.
So what would you say to your fans, right? If they want to become a singer like you, they want to be an artist like you, what would you say to them?
I would tell them to just follow their heart. If there's a passion that's burning deep inside, to follow it. Don't give up on yourself. It takes, sometimes it takes a while. It takes a little longer for some people than it does for others. But just follow your goals, follow your dreams, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something that you feel in your heart you can.
Oh, that's really good. And I just like you to probably, is there anything else that you want to tell your fan? I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the continuous support. It's been a long journey for me, but I'm very appreciative at everybody that I've bumped into on the way, and people who have. And I always read your comments. I read your messages, and I'm very grateful for all of the positive love and feedback. I'm even grateful for the negative feedback because it helps me to better myself as a person. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. It's really been lovely chatting with you. And I know you're such a busy girl, but you still spare some time to come and talk to us and talk to your fans. Thank you so much for your time.